The meeting of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice and Financial Operations Committee is called to order in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Open Meetings Act. A quorum of the committee is present, and the meeting is now declared opened. It is 2:48. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any amendments or objections to the proposed minutes as presented? Hearing none, the minutes as presented on the agenda will stand approved. The next item on the agenda is the Manufacturing, Agribusiness, and Logistics Division Report. Director Billy Hirsch will be presenting two requests today. Please join us at the podium. Mr. Hirsch, if you are ready, please begin.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, members. Today we have two items on the agenda. During the regular session of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice, we will recommend the board approve these items. The first one is the Cameron Oil Pipeline Company is requesting to renew an existing easement at the Stiles Unit in Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, to include a total area consisting of 3.83 acres of land, 5,555.39 feet by 30 feet wide, containing a 24-inch pipeline to transport crude oil. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, you'll see the Stiles Unit there on the lower side, and then LeBlanc and Gist units up on the upper side of the highway there. The easement's going to run mainly down that highway from a west to east or east to west direction. Cameron Highway Oil Pipeline Company has agreed to pay $336,690 compensation for the term of 10 years. This is their second renewal. I would also point out that this easement includes language requiring indemnification as the grantee's responsibility, the most favored nation clause, and general liability insurance for a minimum of $3 million. Stand available for any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Hirsch. You can continue.
Okay. The second item is Seaway Crude Pipeline Company is requesting a renewal of an existing easement at the Stiles Unit in Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, to include a total area of 2.077 acres of land that's 3,015.75 feet long by 30 feet wide. The area contains one 36-inch pipeline to transport crude oil. If you look at the screen there, the same unit that we were on just a second ago, you can see Gist there just to the east of the pipeline. Pipeline runs in a northeasterly direction or southwesterly direction, just on the side of our land there. Seaway Crude Oil Pipeline has agreed to pay $182,770 compensation for a 10-year term. This is their first renewal. I'd like to point out that the easement does include language requiring identification as the grantee's responsibility, the most favored nation clause, and general liability insurance coverage for a minimum of $3 million. I stand available for any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, thank you again, Mr. Hirsch. The next item on the agenda is a report from Facilities Division Director Ron Hudson on the status of board-approved projects. Mr. Hudson, please, you're there. If you're ready, please begin.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, members. I'd like to provide a update on the status of board-approved projects. Item number one is the Coalfield Unit Roofing Project. This project is currently 98% complete. Remaining work consists of strapping mechanical equipment to the roof areas and final punch list items. Item number two is the Michael Unit Roofing Project. This project is 26% complete. TDCJ and the vendor Liquitech have come to an agreement to resume this project. Liquitech has begun ordering roof material and will be mobilizing back to the Michael Unit in the coming weeks. Item number three is the Crane Unit Roofing Project to replace the roof at the reception satellite. This project is currently 79% complete. Contractor is currently working on Section A, which is the administration, Cell Block D, the corridor, and the visitation area. All roofing materials are on site, and this project continues to move forward. Item number four is the Mumford Unit Roofing Project. This project is currently 63% complete. Contractor is working on C1, which is the administration area, and G1, which is the maintenance, food service, and supply areas. This project continues to move forward. Item number 5 is the Estelle Unit Textile Mill Roof Project. This project is currently 25% complete. Contractor has started demo of the old roof and installation of the new roof. All roofing materials are on site, and this project continues to move forward. Item number 6 is the Gesture 3 Unit Roofing Project. This project is currently 29% complete. Contractor is currently installing purlins in the gym while awaiting delivery of the roof panels. Item number 7 is the Ramsey Unit Roofing Project. This project is currently 17% complete. Contractor continues to perform prep work for the installation of the main roof. All roofing materials are on hand, and this project will continue to move forward. Item number 8 is the Wind Unit Project to replace the primary electrical and distribution system. This project is complete. Item number 9 is the Coalfield Unit Project to install a new sludge and dewatering press. This project is currently 98% complete. Contractor is completing the final connections of the sludge press, which are the sludge and effluent lines, and they also are in the process of training the staff how to operate this piece of equipment. Item number 10 is the Memorial Unit Project to repair and replace building structures in the boiler room. This project is currently 98% complete. During the final inspection of this project, it was determined the roof of the boiler room needed replacing. The contractor is awaiting submittals to be approved to start the roof replacement of this project. Item number 11 is the Chase Field Refurbish, Repair Water Towers 1 and 2 and ground storage tanks. This project is currently 35% complete. Ground storage tanks are complete, awaiting approval. Contractor continues to work on water towers 1 and 2. Item number 12 is the Ferguson Unit Project to construct a water well and transmission line. This project is complete. Item number 13 is the Wainwright Unit Design-Only Project to construct a wastewater treatment plant. This design-only project is currently 78% complete. Final technical submittals have been received and awaiting internal review. Item number 14 is the Wainwright Unit Design-Only Project to construct a water treatment plant. This design-only project is currently 50% complete. The pre-final review phase is complete, awaiting receipt of the final technical review. Item number 15 is the Robertson Project to add electronic water controls. This project is currently 18% complete. Contractor continues to work on 12 building. As this building is nearing completion, the contractor will begin working on 3 building next. Item number 16 is the GIST Unit Project to replace locking system for multiple locations. This project is complete. Item number 17 is the Michael Unit Project to repair and replace the fire line restrictive housing 12 building. This project is currently 60% complete. Contractor is currently installing piping inside the control pickets with installation of sprinkler heads to follow. Item number 18 is the Estelle Unit Project to replace and relocate the steam line. This project is currently 87% complete. Installation of the piping and install fencing are the only items remaining on this project. Item number 19 is the Telford Unit Project to replace hot water and steam piping. This project is currently 87% complete. Contractor is scheduling a shutdown to tie in all piping. Item number 20 is the Johnston Unit Project to install emergency power to multiple locations. This project is currently at 3% as we continue to wait on the arrival of the new generators. Item 21 is the Johnson Unit Project to install air conditioning systems in buildings B1, B2, B3, pods 1 through 9. This project is currently 60% complete. All preparatory work has been completed, awaiting arrival of the HVAC equipment, which is scheduled to arrive in May of 2023. Item 22 is the GIST unit install air conditioning systems in Building A. This project is currently 3% complete. We continue to await on the arrival of the equipment, which is scheduled for June. Item 23 is the Ramsey unit replace Region 3 training building. This project is 17% complete. Electrical and plumbing subcontractors continue work on the foundation pads. Item 24 is the Clements unit install monitor pulse fence detection systems perimeter. This project is currently 65% complete. The contractor has installed all the associated components, which are the controllers, monitors, electrical backup power. The contractor is now scheduled to start installing the actual pulse fence around the unit. Item 25 is the Coalfield unit install monitor pulse fence detection system perimeter. This project is 73% complete. The contractor is currently installing the fiber optic line, which is the last component that operates this pulse fence. Once complete, the contractor will begin installing the pulse fence around the unit. Items 26, 27, and 28 are the Conley, Michael, and Telford unit, which are going to be the next units where we install pulse fencing at those units, and all 3 of those are at 5%.
Are there any questions from the board?
Very quickly, Mr. Hudson, on those last 3, was that always the plan, was to have those rolled out after the first 2 got completed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as soon as we finish Clements and Cofield, we'll be going to Michael next, and then Telford, and then Conley. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Hudson. There being no further business, the Texas Board of Criminal Justice Business and Financial Operations Committee is now adjourned. It is 2:58.
Is it working? Okay. The meeting of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice Rehabilitation and Reentry Programs Committee is called to order in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Open Meetings Act. A quorum of the committee is present, and the meeting is now declared open. It is 2:58. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any amendments or objections to the proposed minutes as presented? Hearing none, the minutes as presented on the agenda will stand approved. Our next item on the agenda is a presentation from the Director of Rehabilitation Programs Division, Chris Carter, on the NODA No One Dies Alone project. Mr. Carter, please join us at the podium. If you are ready, please begin.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, Pastor Miles, board members. I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity to give you a brief overview of a new rehabilitation programs initiative called No One Dies Alone, NODA. It's proven that peer programs help to provide public safety and reduce recidivism by changing prison culture. Peer leaders use their own life experiences to motivate others to change. In 2021, the Rehabilitation Programs Division developed a cognitive life skills coach program with the leadership of Mr. Collier and the support of Mr. Mendoza and Mr. Lumpkins in the Correctional Institution Division. We identified life coach candidates with the assistance of the wardens. They're transferred to 2 locations for an intensive 6-week training that equips them to provide basic cognitive behavior lessons, mental health first aid, and substance use awareness. The training takes place at the WIN unit for the males and the Mountain View units for the females. As of April the 20th, we have 148 coaches on 41 facilities. Next slide, please. Examples of duties performed: cognitive intervention to correct thinking errors. The coaches teach their students to think about their thinking. Substance use awareness, the dangers of drugs and alcohol, such as fentanyl. Mental health first aid and awareness. If you see something, say something. Identify the warning signs of mental distress. Gatekeepers programs. When individuals enter the system, then they're met by their coaches to kind of give them a guide on Go for the Goals, which is an inventory of programs that we offer so they can kind of develop a roadmap to recovery. ITP, Individualized Treatment Plan. It's a plan that's developed through a group of risk and needs assessments, and their peers are educating them on the importance of enrolling in those programs to help achieve their rehabilitation goals. Tier walking, as approved by the wardens. One of the requirements of the life skills program is that an individual develops what they call a life plan. And during the tier walking sessions, these coaches help them facilitate that plan. Next slide, please. In January, God sent 3 pastors out to the Michaels unit. Pastor Miles, Pastor Hazelwood, and Pastor Stephen Wilson. And with that meeting, a vision was formed to expand the job duties of the cognitive life skill coaches to include hospice care, a multidisciplinary effort that consists of correctional institution division, rehabilitation division, and health services. Correctional institution division wardens will select the volunteer participants to serve in that capacity. The cognitive life skills coaches will receive the 6 weeks training facilitated by the rehabilitation and programs division. The health services division, UTMB, will provide the 30 hours of hospice care training for all NODA coaches. Hospice visitation at the Michaels and the Carol Young facilities takes place 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Not all hospice patients have loved ones that are able to visit them. As of February 2023, there were 21 patients in hospice care. Central job duties of hospice life coaches: reading books and magazines, religious texts and literature to patients, assisting patients during meal times, assisting patients with writing letters to family members and loved ones, watching television shows, movies, and programmatic services with patients, sitting with patients in outside patio areas, day rooms, and bedside, filling the void, especially for patients not receiving family visits, and simply being present and offering peer-to-peer support. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. At this time, I'm going to show you a brief video. Go ahead.
We're playing something else in there. Ants. We dump that out and I'll throw that away. That soil ain't no good.
Enter to his gates with thanksgiving, and to his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Amen. May he be healed and for a quick recovery, Father God. We see you put on Mars and we can live. Amen.
But you know, staying positive and just looking forward, you know.
Right.
Family and friends is what I'm focused on, you know.
And
y'all like family to me, man. You know what I mean? So.
And I feel the same way. Every day, man, every day God give me another day to wake up. I can depend on you each and every day because you show up every day.
I'll be here for you.
You come in, man, every day with a good, positive attitude about everything, about life. And for us back here in hospice, man, that encourages us.
Well, Mr. Carter, thank you. And I just want to commend you on having moved so fast and so aggressively on a new idea to get it up and running in record-breaking time. And I just want to tell you, I very much appreciate all of your hard work. And, you know, because a lot of time we have to take a lot of time to do something new like this. And you got this done very quickly. It's very appreciated. Also, Pastor Miles, I just want to thank you for, from the board, being running point on this and getting this taken care of so quickly, too. So I just want to thank you as well.
Am I on?
You're on.
I'd just like to say that this is Chairman O'Daniel. He cast this vision. Now, the rest of us are foot soldiers in this, but Mr. Carter and his team has done a great job. Warden Townsend, when we met at the Michaels unit, walked us through it. What they were doing there, they were really the forerunners of this. So thank you, Warden. And I think I have sat with inmates in TDCJ, in the infirmary, in their last few days. And this is highly needed. So thank you, Mr. Carter. Well done.
Yes, sir.
Brother.
Thank you.
Chairman, if I could, Pastor Miles just said it, but I was going to make sure this is something that Chairman O'Daniel was his vision and thought. So thank you for that, and thank you, Pastor Miles, and thanks, Chris and the team for helping get it done. The other thing I'll point out is there's a really good study out of Baylor that shows that in these peer programs, although the focus is those hospice individuals in hospice, the people providing the care, there's a substantial rehabilitative effort on their part because of the empathy they show in that role, and they grow, and that grows in our population and continues to help serve others. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
sir.
There being no further business, the Texas Board of Criminal Justice Rehabilitation and Reentry Programs Committee is now adjourned. It is 3:09 p.m.
The meeting of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice Victim Services Committee is called to order in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Open Meetings Act. A quorum of the committee is present, and the meeting is now declared open. It is 3:10. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any amendments or objections to the proposed amendments as presented? Hearing none, the minutes as presented on the agenda will stand approved. Our next item on the agenda is a presentation on employee support services presented by Victim Services Division Director Angie McCown and Deputy Division Director Mary McCafferty. Will you join us at the podium, and if you're ready, you may begin.
We are here.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having us. Good afternoon and happy Friday. Thank you, Chairman O'Daniel, Vice Chair Perryman, Mr. Collier, members of the board, and Mr. Mendoza for allowing us to come and talk about a very exciting section that we added to Victim Services just under 1 year ago. Chairman O'Daniel was at the American Correctional Association conference and attended our session. And although typically I would be talking about the Victim Services Division and our annual report at this meeting, he specifically requested that maybe we give an overview of this new section. So thank you for inviting me to be able to do that and for allowing Ms. McCafferty to join me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got here, and then I'm going to let Mary talk with you about the program itself. I would be remiss if I didn't do a couple of shout-outs of thank yous to our contingency. Where's Mr. Lumpkin?
He had to leave.
All right, well, please tell him that I did a shout-out to him. We've done a lot of work with CID, and they've been very gracious in allowing us on the units and allowing us to come in and assist their staff. Obviously, that is where we oftentimes see the greatest amount of trauma in our agency, and so that is probably CID is our busiest customer at the moment. But let me talk to you a little bit about how we got here. So when I came to work at the Victim Services Division, I came from the Texas Department of Public Safety, where we had a fairly thriving victim services program as well as a peer support program and an employee assistance program that was in-house. And so, as Mr. Collier would probably tell you, I oftentimes have difficulty staying in my lane, which is victim services, but very well intended going outside my lane, looking at other ways to improve the work that we do and improve the circumstances for our staff who work at the agency. And so I became very quickly involved in peer support at TDCJ as well as victim services, partially because I had a lot of experience in that realm. And we wanted to be able to stand independently with our peer support program, save the agency some money in doing so. And so I began to train the peers. And that was kind of my introduction. You can go to the next slide, Mike. Thank you. That was sort of my introduction to stepping outside of victim services within TDCJ. It became very apparent to me that peer support was well needed, not only in CID, but also in parole and other divisions throughout the agency. So I continue to this day to provide a training once every summer for train the trainers to be able to go out into the regions and make sure that we have plenty of peers trained throughout the agency that can respond in the event that we have a critical incident that occurs on a unit or in one of our offices. So we have readily available staff to do that. And they do a great job, but it is a collateral responsibility because most of them have primary jobs at TDCJ. In addition to that, when I came on board, I was very concerned about staff assaults and what our Office of the Inspector General was doing to address those and making sure that we were treating our staff who are assaulted on the job as they should be treated by Chapter 56 of the Code of Criminal Procedure as crime victims. And so shout out to Chris Love and his staff, wherever they are, for, again, being gracious enough to allow me to sort of push my way in their doors as well to offer some assistance when we have those kinds of incidents. Then I went to Mr. Collier and then Mr. Livingston several years later and said, we need a more robust line of duty death policy. And they were gracious enough to give me a committee of people throughout the agency, and we worked together to bring those things on board. So all of that is cooking and going really well, and I'm sort of pushing my next outside the box, not in my lane issue, which is suicide and the impact that suicide has on staff, whether it's a family member, whether it's one of our staff, or whether it's an inmate who's in our custody. All of those deaths are very traumatic. And so really looking at that and what could we do better. It was about during that same time that my deputy was tasked by Mr. Mendoza, if I'm not mistaken, to serve on the serious incident review teams that go in when we have a critical incident. All of this is kind of boiling up all at once, right? And we're really becoming aware of what our staff desperately needs, which is more assistance, in my humble opinion, than we were able to provide at that time. We're also hearing during this time that CRISP, our team members, our peer support members, really are wanting more structure, something that we can put in place to really help guide the program, grow the program, audit the program, and ensure that the program is providing good services. So I guess it will be 2 years in August that I had a meeting with Mr. Collier. It was right after having taught that train the trainer, and he said, how did it go? And I said, it went great. They're very fired up, as always. They're ready to get out in the field and train more peers. Well, what kind of recommendations do they have? Well, they really feel like that we need more structure, that we need paid staff to be overseeing the peer support team. And Mr. Collier says, well, who do they think should do that? And I said, well, they think I should do that, but I've got too much on my plate. I don't have any money in my budget to do that. So I started listing some other divisions. I won't call you out by name, but I did, that I thought could handle this. And Mr. Collier said, you're the person with the experience. You're the person with the passion. So let's find a way to make this work. So all of the information that Mary is going to share with you about what it is that we do, that is because Mr. Collier was willing to step out and say, we're going to find funding to ensure that this program works, and because of his concern about our staff and how they're taken care of. Next slide. So what Mary's going to talk to you a little bit about is how we developed this program, how we ended up with dedicated staff in the field whose responsibility is simply to ensure that everybody in this room's employees are well taken care of and have somebody that they can reach out to confidentially to get the support that they so well deserve in a job that can be as traumatic as this job. They also work with the peers to ensure that peer support program is up and running and fully staffed, and they're providing trainings on peer support on a regular basis. So I'm going to let Mary talk a little bit about that, and then I'll introduce the manager over our program when we're done. And I'll be here for questions if you have any.
Thank you, Angie, Chairman, Vice Chair, and Mr. Collier. So, next slide, please. So some of the peer support enhancements that we've been working to accomplish are to ensure that we have the right people serving as peers. As it's a volunteer position, we want to make sure we've got people who have a passion for supporting others and providing assistance to their coworkers. So we're working on gathering rosters and ensuring they're up to date. And as we have a lot of transition at the agency, we want to make sure that people are serving in the role and they want to be there and are trained well. We're also working to expand the response beyond immediate day of event. We know that a lot of staff may choose not to engage with the peer support team the day of the event, but they want to access resources or talk to somebody later on down the road. And so as we work to improve the CRISP team response, they can be visible and there for more than just the immediate aftermath. We also are working to increase the information and referral network that we have available to staff that the CRISP peers can use, as well as our new employee support services staff. Next slide. So we're excited to show this QR code, and it will take you to a website with a map. We made the decision to model our regions after the Correctional Institutions Division regions, and we're fortunate to have partnership with Human Resources, Parole, and CID to give us office space for those coordinators. So we have office locations in the 6 regions, and those staff respond to critical events, but they also provide ongoing peer support, crisis intervention, referrals, and really do a lot of follow-up care and connection. We also received a grant this year from the Criminal Justice Division of the Governor's Office to expand our team for employee support services. We received funding for 3 additional positions that are focused exclusively on staff assault so that we can improve the response to the crime victims in our agency that are assaulted at work. Make sure that we provide them with information about their rights, access to crime victims' compensation, information about the criminal justice process, notification, and so on and so forth. So far this year, our employee support services staff this fiscal year have assisted 846 individuals and continue to do so day in and day out. And we look forward to getting these 3 new staff members on board. Another initiative that our employee support services team works with is the staff impact team, which was really the vision of Mr. Mendoza and Mr. Collier to better support our staff after a critical event. So the staff impact team is comprised of a group of division directors and deputy division directors who have been trained by Victim Services on how to provide crisis intervention. And it's an opportunity for leaders to go and meet one-on-one with impacted staff members who have responded to a critical event, like an inmate or a staff suicide or homicide, as well as major accidents or incidents at the agency. So far, we've responded to over 80 incidents, assisted over 800 staff members, and we get overwhelmingly positive response from the staff who have been impacted by the event. It's an opportunity for us to check in with them, offer resources, and let them know that the agency sees the impact that these events have on our staff, and that we're here to support you through that experience. Next slide. We've also created the Staff Wellness Toolkit, which is a mobile-friendly website that includes a variety of resources that are organized by topic. You can click on. When you click on the topic, you'll see all different links appear. There's information in there about critical incidents, information for families and significant others about how to better support their loved one who may be a correctional officer, for example. How can I be helpful if my loved one comes home after responding to an inmate suicide, for example? There's also materials in there about mental health, nutrition, and physical health, just really a variety of information that impacts all of the different wellness components for our staff. We also have a QR code for that page that we have tried to distribute widely throughout the agency. We have cards and handouts and all kinds of different things. So, Angie?
So, you want to stay here? And Dawn, you want to come up? So that concludes our presentation. I'd be happy to entertain any questions, but I did want to introduce Dawn McKeon, who is the manager of our Employee Support Services, who is doing an outstanding job and hasn't been here that long. So we're glad to have you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Well, if you want to say some words, we'd be happy to. Go ahead, Dawn.
Go ahead, Dawn.
I'm very proud to be a part of what Angie and Mary are doing out in the community, especially for TDCJ and the staff. It is well needed, has been recognized, and being able to build that platform and move forward, hopefully at some point being able to touch all 16 of our divisions. It's definitely a need, and the team that we have in place, they're ecstatic about what they do. It is already paying off with divisions proactively reaching out to us and asking for assistance, so we know it's working. And it's just a matter of getting it out there and getting the staff and building that platform. But thank you for at least for laying that foundation.
Thank you. Oh, this is the chair.
So, do you have any questions for me?
I just have one thing, and it's not a question, Angie, but
Okay.
what I wanted to tell you, Mary, thank you, and all the work y'all done in victim services. Sometimes when you have really talented people on the team, you just need to get out of the way and give them resources, and that's what you see today. Because Angie's got the experience, and her team have the know-how, and they have taken the ball and run with it, and we've gotten out of the way and tried to give them the resources to do it. And I thank all those other TDCJ staff that have helped. But clearly the need outweighs what we have, and we know that, but we continue to grow the program. But it serves a true purpose. It's been there for quite some time, but I'm so thankful that we've been able to do it. So thank you all for your efforts.
Thank you.
Do you want to say something?
No. Okay.
I mean, this is a great example of how we had a discussion at the last time that this committee met. We talked about peer support, and here you guys are putting it in place. So we really, really appreciate the effort to get a very important component of any effective organization put in place. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Anybody else? Well, I get the last word. So, Angie, I just want to thank you for your leadership. You know that I share your passion for taking care of those people on the front line who are traumatized by the work they do. And I thank you for not staying in your lane. And I thank you, Mr. Collier, for having the leadership and wisdom to recognize the talent that we have standing in front of us right now. The impact that you'll make on this organization now and in the future is impossible to measure. You are incredibly valuable to us. Thank you so much for everything you do, for your passion, for your heart, and the way that you care about people.
Thank you, Chairman Perryman.
Yes. Thank you. And Mary, I didn't mean to leave you out either. I know that you guys have been a dynamo team, and you've been working on several projects all around dealing with the trauma that this agency hasn't addressed in a really long time and needed to. I'm just so excited to see this day come. So thank you. Didn't mean to leave you out. All right. So there being no further business, the Texas Board of Criminal Justice Victim Services Committee is now adjourned. It is 3:27.
228th meeting of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice is reconvened in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Open Meetings Act. Members of the board present for this meeting are Vice Chairman Darylyn Perriman, Secretary Pastor Larry Miles, members Judge Faith Johnson, Judge Molly Francis, Eric Nichols, Ambassador Sitchan Siv, and Dr. Rodney Burrow. A quorum of the board is present, and the meeting is now declared open. It is 3:28. I would like to recognize the public officials and or staff representatives with us today. Are there any present in the audience today? If not, thank you for your support. The Texas Board of Criminal Justice is committed to providing an opportunity for public presentations on posted agenda topics, as well as public comments on issues within its jurisdiction as provided in Board Rule 151.4. Persons interested in speaking at today's meeting were required to complete and submit a registration card at least 10 minutes prior to the meeting's posted start time. As speaker registration cards were received only for the public comment period, I will forego reviewing procedures until that time. And with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Perriman, who would like to speak a little bit about victims' rights.
Thank you, Chairman. So next week, April 23rd through 29th, is National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And the theme this year is Survivor Voices, Elevate, Engage, and Affect Change. This year's theme calls upon communities to amplify the voices of survivors and create environments where survivors have the confidence that they'll be heard, believed, and supported. During National Crime Victims' Rights Week, TDCJ joins with many other advocates, law enforcement agencies, prosecutors' offices, healthcare professionals, and others dedicated to being catalysts for change in our commitment to listening to survivors and honoring them by working towards meaningful change together. Next week, TDCJ will hold our annual Crime Victims' Rights Week recognition event at the Texas Prison Museum in Huntsville beginning at 11 a.m. on Friday. You're certainly welcome and encouraged to join us as we pay tribute to all of the pioneers in victims' rights and victim services and the survivors that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perriman. So let's begin the recognitions. TDCJ Executive Director Brian Collier would like to recognize Information Technology Director Tina Clark for her 25 years of service. Mr. Collier, if you are ready, please begin.
Thank you, Chairman O'Daniel. I'd like to ask Tina Clark if she could please come to the podium. Today, as you indicated, I would like to recognize Tina on her attainment of 25 years of service to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Tina initially began her career in 1993 as an accounting clerk in the Human Resources Division. She promoted within the Human Resources Division to a Human Resource Specialist, but then left the agency in 2000 to work for a school district. In 2006, Tina returned to TDCJ and ultimately found her career home within the Information Technology Division. She held several positions within Information Technology to include Systems Analyst, Project Manager 2, Project Manager 3, and in 2018, Tina was promoted to the Deputy Division Director for the Information Technology Division. In September of 2020, Tina was promoted to the Division Director for the Information Technology Division, where she currently serves. Tina is a strong and engaged leader who has and continues to help our agency navigate through a multitude of technology issues. Inmate tablets, comprehensive video surveillance, and our new corrections information technology system, just to say a few of those. Through each of those large projects, Tina and her team have worked with stakeholders to ensure that successful implementation and a final product that will serve this agency well into the future. Please join me this afternoon in congratulating Tina on attaining 25 years of service to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and to the state of Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Collier, Chairman and members. I truly feel blessed and honored to be a part of the TDCJ. I'm very thankful for the people that have just poured in investing in my career and leadership development, for my family that have supported me along the way, and of course for the great staff of the Information Technology Division that I get to work with every day. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And also, I just want to say, in addition to congratulations on your 25 years, I really do want to highlight the successful rollout of the tablets and what a giant game changer that is for everyone.
Yes,
so
sir.
thank you for doing that.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
The next recognition will be presented by Correctional Institutions Division Deputy Division Director Eric Guerrero. Mr. Guerrero, if you are ready, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, distinguished members. I am pleased to introduce Mr. Lonnie L.E. Townsend, the newly appointed Region 5 Director within the Correctional Institutions Division. He will be responsible for our Panhandle region, which encompasses oversights of 11 units, 2 state jails, and 1 medical facility. L.E. began his career in 2004 as a correctional officer at the Wallace Pack Unit, as he since held every uniform supervisor position, including assistant warden and senior warden on various units. L.E. is a dedicated and altruistic leader in exemplary leadership skills, a high level of integrity, and extensive security knowledge that will continue to serve this agency well. Please join me in congratulating Region Director L.E. Townsend.
Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, members of the board, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm excited to be up in Region 5, and I'm going to tell you, my first order of business is going to be getting reacclimated to that West Texas wind. That'll be the first thing. But I'm from West Texas, and I know the people up there, prideful folks with a hard work ethic, and I look forward to working beside them as we continue to move forward in a positive direction and upholding our mission. So thank y'all.
Well, and thank you, Mr. Townsend. Hold on. But I do have one question for you. Do you have to be a warden at the Michael unit before you get promoted to regional director?
Hey, that's a good place to get some good experience. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Let's go on up. The next several recognitions will be presented by Allison Dunbar, Director of Human Resources. Ms. Dunbar, if you are ready, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Mr. Collier, board members. Today I am proudly introducing the new Human Resources Leadership Team. To assist moving the Human Resources Division forward in a new direction, we now have 2 deputy directors. To my left is Ms. Nalco Mitchell, who has over 27 years of experience with our agency, beginning in 1996 as a correctional officer. Before coming to HR, Ms. Mitchell also worked as an institutional parole officer, a district parole officer, and a parole supervisor, and a state classification committee member. Ms. Mitchell is a proud alumni of Sam Houston State University, earning a Bachelor's of Arts in Biology with a minor in English. She has also earned a Master's of Science in Criminal Justice Leadership from Lamar University. And to my right is Miss Sheila Moore, who has over 25 years of experience with our agency, and she also began her career as a correctional officer in 1994. She continued working full-time as a correctional officer until 2000, which she changed to part-time to pursue her education. Then in 2004, she earned her Bachelor's of Arts in Criminal Justice from Sam Houston State University. And after graduating, Ms. Moore has served in multiple divisions to include the Business and Finance Division, Parole, Administrative Review and Risk Management, and the Private Facility Contract Monitoring Oversight Division, before joining Human Resources in October of 2022. Both of these strong women take pride in their work and have a strong belief in leadership growth, not only personally, but for those of their staff that they serve, and I'm very proud to be working with them. Next, the introductions continue with 3 new managers in HR. All 3 of these women possess a servant's heart, putting others' needs before their own. And I believe that will serve our staff well into the future for many years to come, and I'm happy to have them in HR. I will begin with Miss Shannon Boston here on my left, and she began her career in 1985, again as a correctional officer. She's also worked in many departments and divisions before coming to HR in 2006. Ms. Boston is actively involved in her community, serving as a CASA advocate, a CASA volunteer, and being a founding member of the Open Door Outreach Ministry. She is also excitedly looking forward to graduation this December from the Houston Christian University with a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree. Next, to my far left, is Miss Lindsay Harding. She began her career with TDCJ in 2009 and quickly found her way to HR that same year. Ms. Harding has consistently displayed her knowledge of HR and her willingness to help others. Those qualities, as well as her strong work ethic, resulted in Ms. Harding holding and promoting 7 times within the HR division. Ms. Harding's passion towards our staff is undeniable. And lastly is Ms. Lauren Newton. She began her career in 2009, and she has a broad range of knowledge as well, working in 5 different divisions before promoting to the Deputy Executive Director's office before coming to HR. Ms. Newton is currently a senior at Lamar University pursuing a degree in general business, and Ms. Newton's positive energy and passion for people will bring a new spirit to our division. This is the new faces of the HR division. Thank you.
Congratulations. I don't know if any of you would like to say a few words, or otherwise we'll get our pictures taken at the seal.
We will go for the picture. They are all
pictures. Good answer.
Let's do one at a time.
The next recognition will be presented by Parole Division Director Renee Hinojosa. Mr. Hinojosa, if you are ready, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, members of the board. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce Ms. Lauren Montgomery. Lauren was recently promoted to the new section director for the review and release processing section for the Parole Division. In her new role, she would oversee all areas of case analysis, the Central File Coordination Unit, and also the Huntsville Placement and Releasing Unit. These three areas are responsible for everything concerning the inmate parole review process and the releasing of the inmates onto parole, to include the issuance of the parole certificates. Ms. Montgomery has over 10 years of experience within the Parole Division, where she began her career as a parole officer, like so many of the great ones have. She also held positions within our warrant section, and most recently was the Assistant Section Director for Central Coordination Unit. Ms. Montgomery, being a native of San Antonio, earned her bachelor's degree in criminology from Texas A&M San Antonio. She is one of the most responsive, engaged individuals that I know. Her knack for understanding and growing her staff and creating and cultivating a family environment is well known throughout parole. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Montgomery on her most recent promotion to the Review and Release Processing Section Director. She's sorry.
Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, members, thank you for allowing me to be here today. I am grateful for this opportunity, and I look forward to contributing to the success of the Parole Division.
Well, congratulations. And have you ever thought about being an executive director someday? Reentry and Integration Division Director April Zamora will be giving our next recognition. Ms. Zamora, if you are ready, please begin.
Yes, I am, Chairman, members of the board, and Mr. Collier. I have with me today Emily Eisenman. She is the newest Deputy Director at the Reentry Division. She actually was promoted in October, but like Emily always does, she was quick to get to work, and this is her first opportunity to come before you. She started out her career with TDCJ in 2005 as a correctional officer at the Byrd Unit. Then she went on to become an institutional parole officer, then went to the Private Facilities and Contract Monitoring and Oversight Division. She joined Reentry in 2015 and decided that from being a contract monitor in Tacoma, she would then become a regional supervisor with Reentry, missed the Tacoma side of life, and is now the Deputy Director who oversees our Tacoma world, if you will, which is really our special needs reentry piece of the house. Ms. Eisenman is dedicated to almost everything reentry that you could think about, and like I said, hit the ground running. I'm very proud to have her. There's nothing that I can say more than I will never be disappointed in the things she does. She doesn't hold back. She's a Colorado transplant, came to Texas, got her master's degree from Sam Houston State University in criminal justice, and I'm glad she made her way to Texas because I know she will make not only me proud, but she will make you proud as well. Ms. Emily Eisenman.
And Chairman, Board, Mr. Collier, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity. I think it's a saying that they said, get to Texas as quickly as you can. It took me apparently a few years, but I immediately fell into TDCJ work, and it has become my family to the point that I have brought the rest of my family to Texas with me. So I'm excited about the opportunity and look forward to continue to work with this great and wonderful organization.
Well, and congratulations, Ms. Eisman, and being in charge of the world's longest acronym. And let us get a picture. The Texas Board of Criminal Justice recognizes TDCJ employees who have dedicated 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45 years of service to the state of Texas. These individuals represent the strong commitment of this agency's staff system-wide. I, along with my fellow board members and Executive Director Brian Collier, express our deepest gratitude for their continued service. During the months of March and April 2023, 65 employees attained 25 years of service, 30 employees attained 30 years of service, 12 employees attained 35 years of service, and 9 employees attained 40 years of service. Today, I would like to individually recognize the employees that have attained over 40 years of service for their dedication and that service. First, Jacqueline Brown began her career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in 2001 as a correctional officer at the Luther Unit. During her career, she worked her way up through the ranks from CO to captain before retiring in 2019. Shortly after retirement, Major Brown returned to the agency, working as the law librarian and food service captain at the Luther Unit. In 2021, she moved even further up the ranks, promoting to the position of food service major. Major Brown goes above and beyond the call of duty, daily displaying what it truly means to be a leader. She works diligently despite the systematic challenges of being short-staffed. Never once does she complain, instead stating, "The job has to be done and someone has to do it, so it may as well be me." The commitment and dedication shown by Major Brown does not go unnoticed. She outlines the core values of the agency and the way she carries out her duties on a daily basis and is an asset to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Next, John Jeter began his career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as a correctional officer in August 1982 at the Luther Unit. As Mr. Jeter began promoting through the ranks, he found his true calling as field lieutenant in July 1999. For the next 13 years, Mr. Jeter was involved in the scheduling, training, and supervising of field staff, as well as maintaining order and ensuring the safety and security of the inmates assigned to agricultural duties. In July 2012, Mr. Jeter retired as field lieutenant at the Ellis Unit before returning in February 2013 as a correctional officer 5 at the Ellis Unit. By May 2013, Mr. Jeter promoted to major of the Security Operations Department, where he remains today. Major Jeter is an experienced, dedicated, and dependable employee. He is loved and respected by his peers. When not at work, he loves spending quality time with family, cooking over the barbecue pit, and working with his hands to create Jeter's works of art. Next, Fred Frick. After 6 years with the United States Army, Fred Frick began his career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in 1982 at the Ramsey Unit Training Academy. During Hurricane Alicia in 1983, he was assigned to the Ramsey II Unit. In 1985, Officer Frick and his family relocated to Gatesville, where he began working as a correctional officer at the Hilltop Unit. He has remained at the Hilltop Unit, continuing his correctional career while assisting his wife in raising their 2 sons. Throughout his tenure with the agency, Officer Frick has been an asset to the Hilltop Unit. His dedication, dependability, and commitment to his family in gray are only a few examples of why Officer Frick is considered an exemplary employee. If he's not ensuring the safety and security of the Hilltop Unit, you can find Officer Frick enjoying his favorite pastime, building model cars. Next, Dwayne Long has had an expansive career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for 40 years. His dedication of service began when he enlisted in the United States Army and served his country from 1968 to 1975 in the Vietnam War. Thank you for your service. He later continued his service by hiring on as a correctional officer at the Eastham Unit in 1982. During his tenure, he witnessed and experienced numerous challenges and changes faced by the agency. A few examples include the removal of tobacco from correctional facilities and the implementation of offender telephone systems. He's even been around to see the renaming of the unit from the Eastham Unit to the J. Dale Wainwright Unit. When asked why he's only worked at one facility for his entire career with the agency, Officer Long kindly responded, "It's a special place." In 1977, Officer Long married the love of his life, Valerie, and together they raised their 2 daughters and adoptive son. Officer Long's hobbies include cars, specifically Camaros, and telling dad jokes. Dad jokes. I was going to say, I love dad jokes too. What do ticks and the Eiffel Tower have in common? They're both Paris sites. The dedication.
Good one. Good one.
The dedication Officer Long has shown to not only agency but his country is admirable and greatly appreciated. He has embodied the core values of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice throughout the past 40 years and is an asset to all those he encounters with his vast correctional knowledge and experience. Next, Thomas F. Reed began his career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in November 1982 at the PAC unit. Throughout his tenure, Mr. Reed was assigned to the field force at several units before promoting to kennel sergeant at the Ellis unit in 1999. For the next 15 years, Mr. Reed supervised the care and custody of inmates as well as the care, training, and use of canine tracking teams and scent-specific canines. In January 2014, Mr. Reed retired as the kennel sergeant at the Ellis unit. Dedicated to the agency, Mr. Reed returned just a short 5 months later as a Correctional Officer 5 at Huntsville Regional Operation Maintenance located at the Ellis unit. Currently, Mr. Reed is assigned as an outside yard officer, continuing to utilize his correctional knowledge in and outside of the unit. There is not a task given to him that Mr. Reed won't work vigorously to accomplish. He is highly experienced, dedicated, dependable, and respected by his peers and supervisors. The skill set brought forth by Mr. Reed is invaluable to the agency. Next, Enrique Saucedo Jr. began his career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as a correctional officer in March 1981 at the Ramsey II unit, where he held various duty assignments until 1989, when he promoted to the Purchase and Supply Office at the Ramsey III unit. In March 1995, Officer Saucedo joined the Laundry, Food Service, and Supply Department, where he promoted to a Laundry Manager 4 and remained until his retirement in December of 2007. Officer Saucedo returned to the agency as a Laundry Manager 2 at the Torres unit in March 2010. In December 2018, he decided to return to his roots in the Correctional Institutions Division as a correctional officer. He is currently a Correctional Officer 5 at the Ney unit. Officer Saucedo has numerous stories to tell of his 40-year career with TDCJ. Officer Saucedo has a loving family who he is extremely proud of. He is an outstanding individual and an asset to the agency. Next, Reginald J. Phillips began his career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in March 1983 at the Darrington Unit, now known as Memorial Unit, in Rocheron, Texas. Officer Phillips honed his correctional skills for inmates requiring medical care at units such as Hospital Galveston and Carroll Young Medical Facility until his retirement in 2012. After a brief 6 months, he rejoined his family in Gray at the Carroll Young unit in June 2012. The wealth of knowledge Officer Phillips has gained over 40 years with the agency is an invaluable asset. The way he conducts his job duties has always been firm, fair, and consistent. These qualities, paired with his unwavering dedication, are valued by his co-workers and administration. He's always available to lend a helping hand and stepping up to assist with any special projects. Officer Phillips embodies the Texas Department of Criminal Justice's core values and code of ethics. Next, Linda Sanchez began her career at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in December 1981 as one of the first female correctional officers at the Gatesville Hilltop units. Throughout the following years, Ms. Sanchez assisted in the opening operations of several units, Jester 3, Torres, and Neal. In 1996, she promoted to the pre-service training sergeant at the Region 4 Training Academy. She assisted incoming officers at Region 4 until her transfer to the Connolly unit in 1999, where she worked as the in-service training sergeant. In 2005, she transferred to the Dominguez State Jail and worked as their in-service training sergeant until her retirement in 2012. In 2013, Ms. Sanchez returned to Dominguez State Jail as a clerk in the mailroom. With her wealth of knowledge and commitment to the agency, Ms. Sanchez plays a critical role in the success of the Dominguez mailroom. With over 31 years of service, Ms. Sanchez has hit many milestones during her time with the agency. When asked her greatest accomplishments, Ms. Sanchez will proudly tell you her son, although career-wise she enjoyed her time in training. When she's not at work, Ms. Sanchez loves spending time with her family, especially spoiling her 3-year-old grandson and watching him play t-ball. Next, Milton Burks began his career with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in June of 1982 at the OB Ellis Unit in Huntsville, Texas. He worked a year and a half as a correctional officer before he transferred to the Ellis Unit Food Service Department, where he would later promote to a food service manager. He worked at Ellis Unit for 20 years. In 2002, he promoted to a food service captain at the Holiday Transfer Facility. In 2007, Officer Milton transferred into inmate transportation, where he worked until his retirement. During retirement, he spent his time enjoying his grandchildren and his family, went on cruises, and went fishing. In 2013, he came out of retirement and returned to inmate transportation, where he currently works today. Officer Milton has proven to be a true asset to this agency and to the Inmate Transportation Department. I would like to add that the names of these employees will be submitted for inclusion in the official minutes of this board meeting. The Texas Board of Criminal Justice congratulates each of these employees and thanks you for your unwavering loyalty and dedication to the citizens of the great state of Texas. As a symbol of our appreciation, each of you will receive a board certificate along with a personal letter of gratitude. Moving on to consent items, today's proposed consent items include an excused absence for Ms. Darylyn Perryman from the February 10th, 2023 meeting. Are there any amendments, objections, or abstentions to the proposed consent items? Hearing none, the consent items posted for this meeting's agenda will stand approved. The next item on the agenda will be a report from the TDCJ Executive Director, Mr. Collier. I understand you have 3 topics for us today. If you are ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Chairman O'Daniel. I'd like to begin by providing you with an update on the legislative session. The 88th legislative session is now past the midpoint, and we have about 6 more weeks to go. Both the House and the Senate have been working their budget bills respectively. The House has passed their budget and the Senate has passed their budget earlier this week. In both bills, TDCJ has received very favorable funding, and we're excited to see what happens when the conference committee completes their negotiations in the coming weeks. The final budget is presented to both the House and the Senate. House and Senate committees have been hearing bills over the past several weeks, and many of our staff have provided testimony and feedback on the impact of potential legislation. Our agency is currently tracking a little over 1,300 bills, and committees will continue to hear bills for the next several weeks. Although we have some distance to go, the session has been very good at TDCJ, and we remain very optimistic. I'll continue to keep you updated on our progress as we continue through this session. Also, we'll update you on correctional officer staffing. Correctional officer staffing continues to be the agency's top priority, and our recruiting and retention initiatives are beginning to make progress. or continue to make progress, excuse me. We have seen recent increases in our application numbers, and more importantly, our retention rates are showing improvement. We have engaged with 25 high schools since January and 21 scheduled high school events for the next coming months. We scheduled and supported 154 hiring events during January and February. Our Warden's Direct Hire program has resulted in just under 4,000 hires since inception, and our online referral program introduced in September of 2021 has generated over 3,000 referrals. The House and Senate proposed budgets both contain pay increases for staff in the amount of 5% or $3,000 per year beginning in fiscal year 24, and another 5% or $3,000 for fiscal year 25. And I would note that the pay increase for 24 currently, as written in both budget bills, will begin in July. These increases will help with correctional officer staffing, but will also help with many of the other areas of the agency that are facing significant staffing challenges, such as parole, where we have just under an 18% vacancy rate, reentry and integration, where we have a 27% vacancy rate, and our rehabilitative programs division, where in some instances we have as high as a 50% vacancy rate. I will continue to update you on our staffing challenges and our progresses in our future reports. Lastly, I wanted to mention National Reentry Week. April 24th through April 28th is designated as National Reentry Week. During this week, we take time to draw attention to the substantial local and statewide efforts to help provide effective reentry for those releasing from our system. Each year, over 40,000 people are released from our facilities, and for those individuals, successful reentry is a must. We provide successful reentry in a multitude of ways, many of which start well before an individual is released. These efforts combined with post-release services can knock down many of the reentry barriers that individuals face upon release. We know that these efforts are successful by looking at the metrics such as our post-release employment information as well as our recidivism rates, which have been on a downward trend for the last 10 years. Public safety is our mission, and effective reentry is absolutely public safety. Thank you to the thousands of men and women of the agency who work tirelessly to provide opportunity and pathways that lead to success for the men and women in and out of our system. As we celebrate this next week, let us all reflect on their efforts and take a little time just to say a special thank you for all of their hard work. General Daniel, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Collier. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is the chairman's report. And good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be back in the capital city. For many years, Austin was the sole place we would hold our board meetings. And indeed, I was born and raised here, so I was ready for a change of scenery. So for the last several years, we have traveled much of this great state, visiting with staff, engaging the public, and touring facilities. Well, today we are back in Austin, not only for the April board meeting, but earlier today we also had the opportunity to celebrate some of the volunteers making a difference with TDCJ. But before I begin my remarks, I did want to share a few interesting things I have learned about this great city. Austin wasn't originally called Austin. It was called Waterloo, and the name was changed to honor Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas and the Republic's first Secretary of State. An average of 20 million people visit this city each year. This is more than the annual visitors to Rome, Hawaii, and even London. Austin is home to one of the largest urban bat colonies in North America. Around 1.5 million bats emerge from the Ann W. Richards Congress Avenue Bridge just before sunset every day from March to October. A close second happens to be in Huntsville near the Walls Unit, which I'm tasking Mr. Collier to fix in the near future. Austin's unofficial slogan, "To Keep Austin Weird," originated in 2000 when a local librarian used the phrase on a local radio show. It's fair to say the city has kept up with that slogan. I can say that because I live here and my office window looks out at Congress Avenue Bridge, where colorful crowds congregate each night to cheer on the bats. But enough about Batty Austin. Let's talk about some amazing employees who are doing great work throughout the Central Texas region. And as I announce your name, if you could please come up to the podium. And first is outstanding employee is Mickey Davis, Maintenance Supervisor 3, Lane Murray Unit. Mickey Davis Jr. began his career with TDCJ as a correctional officer in 2001. After 20 years in the Correctional Institutions Division, he moved over to the Maintenance Division in April of last year. His knowledge of security has proven to be a valuable asset for improving conditions for inmates and staff at the Lane Murray Unit in Gatesville. He leads by example and is willing to lend a hand wherever it may be needed or to provide advice to those seeking it. Mr. Davis is regarded by everyone at the unit as a valuable team member. As a supervisor, he has shown great initiative by taking it upon himself to get his EPA license and take the HVAC test so that he can be certified and further his service to the agency. He has been married to his wife, Wanda, for 33 years, and they have 3 boys, Chance, Justin, and Bryce. He enjoys spending time with his grandchildren. He has a granddaughter who was born just in March. Congratulations. His other grandkids are Colton, Zeta, Chance Jr., and Mia. Mr. Davis is a United States Air Force veteran. Thank you for your service, and can be found working on airplanes at the Gatesville Airport when he is not on duty at the Murray Unit. And again, thank you, Mr. Davis. And if you have some remarks, go ahead.
Don't have just but a few. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Collier. And thank Mr. Brown and the guys at the unit.
Well, and hold on. Let's get a picture. Our next outstanding employee is Kathy Browning, Correctional Officer 5 at the Walker Sale Unit. Officer Kathy Browning began her employment with the agency in January 2010 at the French Robertson Unit in Abilene. In 2012, she transferred to the Walker Sale Substance Abuse Felony Punishment Facility in Brackenridge, where she has continued her duties. Officer Browning is well respected by her peers as well as the inmates assigned to the facility. She's extremely dependable. She is known for being firm, fair, and consistent. She is always willing to volunteer to work overtime wherever and whenever the need arises. She's been recipient of the facility's Employee of the Month award several times. Her commitment to her duties as a correctional professional, along with her integrity and character, have never been called into question. She's a prime example of the agency's core values. She demonstrates perseverance and has the courage to overcome and face any challenge head-on. Her vast correctional knowledge and veteran status at the facility makes her a valuable asset to everyone around her. Officer Browning has been married for 28 years to her husband, Kenneth. They have a son, Zachariah, and a daughter, Shaylin, and a new granddaughter, Eliana, I got it, all right, who Officer Browning loves to spend her time with when she is not at work. And one of her favorite pastimes is quilting. So again, let us give a round of applause to Officer Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Collier and Chairman. This has been quite a little trip, but I keep trying to learn and stay, not get stale. Just learn something new every day, so it's not a wasted day. Thank you.
Thank you, and let's get a picture. Our next outstanding employee is Robert Pickett, Correctional Officer 5, Hilltop Unit. Robert Pickett has a wealth of correctional knowledge that is invaluable to the agency. He's been here since 1992, interrupted by a short retirement. He began his career as a correctional officer at the Ferguson unit, but soon after transferred to a unit that would put him closer to home in Gatesville. He assisted in opening the San Saba unit and remained there for 3.5 years. In 1995, he transferred to the Gatesville unit, later named the Christina Melton Crane unit, where he was a hardworking and dedicated employee. He retired in September 2017. But, like so many, he just could not stay away and returned to work for the agency in July 2020 as a correctional officer at the Hilltop unit, where he continues his duties today. Robert met his wife, Gina, while working at the Crane unit, and they've been married for 23 years. Robert has 2 adult sons and a daughter from a previous relationship. They are Robert Jr., Donald, and Roberta. He also has a grandson, Dustin, and a granddaughter, Elizabeth, and a great-granddaughter. He grew up in the Pacific Northwest in a town called Moclips. All right, Moclips.
It's about this big.
All right. He says it is so small that the entering and leaving sign are the same. You know, I had a boss, an old boss, Justice Thomas. He said that about his hometown, Pinpoint, Georgia. So you can imagine why it was called Pinpoint. Robert is a 13-year veteran of the United States Army. Thank you for your service. And was based at Fort Hood, where he worked in the artillery division. When he's not at the Hilltop unit, he enjoys fishing and deer hunting. Thank you for your service.
I'm not much of a speaker. I just want to say thank you to the board for selecting me, and I'll be here for another year or 2.
That sounds good to us. Let's get a picture. Our next outstanding employee is Leo Soto, Lieutenant Wallace Unit. Lieutenant Leo Soto at the Wallace Unit began his career with the agency in February 2014 as a correctional officer at the Wallace Unit in Colorado City. 2 years later, he promoted to sergeant at the nearby Ware Transfer Facility, and in July 2021, he promoted to lieutenant back at the Wallace Unit. Lieutenant Soto excels as a leader and is extremely driven. He continuously seeks ways to improve himself as well as his subordinates. Leadership has noted that he is someone who will go far in his correctional career as he continues to embrace the agency's visions and goals. Last May, Lieutenant Soto assisted the Fisher County Sheriff's Department in tracking one of their inmates who had escaped. The lieutenant located the individual in an open field and kept a visual on the suspect until deputies arrived to place him back in custody. His quick actions reflect a key part of the agency's mission to provide public safety. Lieutenant Soto says his actions that day were just part of being a good citizen and providing a helping hand when needed. When Lieutenant Soto is away from the Wallace Unit, he enjoys spending time with his wife, Lois. They have been married for 12 years. His hobby is doing leather work, including making duty belts for his co-workers. Thank you for your service, Mr. Soto. Thank you.
just like to say thank you to y'all and the regional director.
Well, let's get a picture. Our next outstanding employee is Edward Lindner, Correctional Officer 4, Robertson Unit. Although he has only been with the agency for a short time, Officer Edward Lindner has already shown his ability to deal with an emergency with a cool head while demonstrating our core values. Officer Lindner began his employment in July 2022 at the Robertson Unit. On September 23rd of last year, he was on his way to another unit in the Abilene area when he came upon an accident involving a semi-truck and a passenger vehicle. Without any hesitation, he immediately stopped to render first aid to the victims, including life-saving measures on a female occupant of the passenger vehicle, Katie Kleinberg, a clerk 2 in the records division at the Hughes unit, and her mother, Elizabeth Hale, were in the passenger vehicle. Officer Lindner continued life-saving efforts on Miss Kleinberg until paramedics and other emergency personnel arrived. She was transported to a nearby hospital, but sadly she did not survive. Lindner's actions that day demonstrated the best attributes of the agency's core values. He assisted someone in need and went above and beyond the call of duty. Officer Lindner was raised in Colorado and has lived in Durango, Pagosa Springs, and Cortez before coming to work for TDCJ. He was with the Archuleta County Sheriff's Department. One of his favorite pastimes while living in Colorado was mountain biking. He has done some of that here in Texas too, mostly around the hill country. He also enjoys his wood shop and hosting friends and family in the man cave he has built at his home. I need some plans for a man cave. Officer Lindner has been married for 20 years to his wife, Karen. They have a son, Joshua, which I think is no, sir. This is a stand-in. And he has a son named David and two stepsons, Aaron and Caleb. Growing up in Colorado, one of his favorite sports teams was the Denver Broncos, which we won't hold against him today. Thank you for your service, Mr. Lindner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Collier, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get a picture taken. Yes, we can get one with him, too. Oh, so this is the little one. I'll hold this. Our next outstanding employee is Elizabeth Sanchez, Administrative Assistant 4. of the Parole Division, Austin. Miss Elizabeth Sanchez is a true American success story, as well as someone who defines the agency's core value of perseverance. She was born and raised in the Philippines, where she took care of her elderly mother by working in the rice fields and as a street vendor. At the age of 21, she moved to the United States after meeting and marrying her husband, Gerard Sanchez. With only a third-grade education, Liz worked her way through cosmetology school and received her manicurist license. She then went to work for a light company and finally opened her own grocery store and coffee shop. Despite her success, Liz found herself wanting more. She wanted a high school diploma, and after a year and a half of studies, she obtained her GED. All this without any prior knowledge of how computers worked. But she wanted more and began working her way towards her associate's degree as a surgical technician. But it was at this point that she set aside her educational ambitions to care for her family. She applied for and was hired as a clerk 2 with the agency. She has now been promoted several times and serves as an administrative assistant 4. Anyone who has worked in an office setting knows how valuable an administrative assistant can be. They are often the glue keeping everyone together, and that's certainly true for my assistant. Since joining the TDCJ family, she has excelled in her positions and has made a name for herself as a go-getter. Her natural curiosity and motivation to be well-versed in multiple areas has paved the way for her ongoing success. When she's not at work, Liz enjoys cooking for friends and family or gardening at her home in Buda. She has 2 stepsons, Jeremy and Nicholas, and 4 step-grandchildren, Gabrielle, Jaron, Aubrey, and Dylan. Another interest away from work is supporting her community. Her compassion and generosity towards the homeless is admirable. She provides food and clothing to those in need. Every day before leaving work, she packs up several goodie bags with supplies that she has bought with her own money to deliver to those in need while on her way home or on weekends. Liz has an endearing, giving spirit and gives back tenfold despite her humble beginnings. Her perseverance, dedication, and passion makes her an asset to the Parole Division and the communities we serve. Please join me in congratulating Liz. Thank you.
I am humbled and honored for this recognition, so I really appreciate you. Thank you.
And thank you. Let's get a picture. Congratulations to all of our outstanding employees, and that concludes my report. Next is, due to the unexpected absence of Judge Palomo, the board will not receive a report from the Judicial Advisory Council today and passes this agenda item. The next item on the agenda is the discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the selection of the State Council for Offenders Director. As outlined in board policy, the TBCJ appoints a State Council for Offenders, SCFO director, who reports directly to the TBCJ. The SCFO director is a licensed attorney with extensive experience and training. The SCFO provides legal counsel and representation to indigent persons while they are incarcerated in TDCJ as defined by statute. SCFO also provides legal representation to current and formerly incarcerated clients facing civil commitment proceedings in accordance with Texas Health and Safety Code, Chapter 841. I named an SCFO committee composed of the following board members: Honorable Molly Francis, Honorable Faith Johnson, and Eric Nichols. The position was posted for 17 days, and the committee selected qualified candidates to interview. The search committee interviewed the candidates in March and presented its recommendations to the full board for discussion during executive session. I emphasize that the selection of the new SCFO would occur during today's regular session board meeting. The names of the applicants interviewed: Thomas Brewer III, Rebecca Chin, Douglas Kim, and Wyvon Martin. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir. I move that the Texas Board of Criminal Justice approve the selection of Wyvon Martin as the State Council for Offenders Director to be effective May 1st, 2023.
A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made. It has been seconded by Ms. Darylyn Perryman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Judge Johnson abstains. The motion passes. Congratulations, Ms. Martin. We now move on. Our next item on the agenda is the International Audit Status Report. Director of Internal Audit, Chris Cerrito, will be presenting today. Mr. Cerrito, if you're ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members, Mr. Collier. I have several updates to the packet, to the status report in your packet. Beginning with Project 2209, that project is now complete. Project 2305 is now a draft report. And then I have several additions to your status report. We have assigned Project 2309, Project 2310, Project 2313, 2005, and Project 2313, 1808. And with that, I will pause for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Cerrito. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, thank you for the status report, Mr. Cerrito. The next item on the agenda is the discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding purchases and contracts over $1 million. Chief Financial Officer Ron Steffa will be presenting today. Members of the board, I don't ordinarily vote unless it is to break a tie. However, my firm represents entities included in the purchases and contracts over $1 million. Therefore, I will not be taking action today on the purchases and contracts over $1 million. Mr. Steffa, if you're ready, please begin.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, board members, Mr. Collier. You can find the list of purchases on page 15 of your booklet. It's behind tab I. The first purchase is an increase to an FY 22-23 contract for natural gas due to the increasing rates that we're experiencing. The second item is an increase to the Corrections Information Technology Systems contract. It is for additional resources for the mainframe modernization component of that contract. The third item is an increase to aluminum sign blanks, increased orders. The next item is increase to pork trimmings. It's also due to increased usage, and we're requesting a continuation of the 10% variance for that item for price fluctuations and usage changes. Next item is a fiscal year 23 contract for beaded sheeting license plates. The next item is a 23-24 contract for media display stations for employee communication, education, and training purposes. The next item is a fiber cabling for fiscal year 23 and 24. The next two items are renewals. They're for the residential reentry centers at Beaumont and Houston. Item number 10 is the FY24 contract for fertilizer used in field and vegetable crops. Item number 11 is for cans and lids for fiscal year 24. Item number 12 is a fiscal year 24 contract for pork trimmings. Item number 13 is a FY24 contract for beef trim. On the next page, item number 14 is a renewal for outpatient substance abuse treatment services with the Dallas Community Supervision and Corrections Department for fiscal years 24 and 25. The next three items are operations and managements of the state jails for Bradshaw, Lindsay, and Willacy, and it is a renewal for fiscal years 24 and 25. The next 9 items are for fiscal years 24 and 25, and they're renewals, and they're for the substance abuse felony punishment facilities and also IPTCs, the in-prison therapeutic communities, and they're at Estelle, Glossbrenner, Crane, Halbert, Havens, Stringfellow, Kyle, Goodman, and the SAIL units. And the last 5 items are substance abuse treatment programs at the Lynchner State Jail, Dominguez State Jail, Hutchins State Jail, Plain State Jail, and Travis County State Jail for fiscal years 24 and 25. And I'll pause for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Steffa. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I move that the Texas Board of Criminal Justice approve the purchases and contracts over $1 million as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made. It's been seconded by Pastor Miles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Please let the record show I abstain from voting on the purchases and contracts over $1 million. Thank you, Mr. Steffa. The next agenda item is a discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding proposed land transaction, request for renewal of a crude oil pipeline easement, Stiles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas. Mall Director Billy Hirsch will be presenting. Members of the board, I would like to state for the record, I don't ordinarily vote unless it is to break a tie. However, my firm represents Cameron Highway Oil Pipeline Company, LLC. Therefore, I will not be taking action today on the request for renewal of a crude oil pipeline easement, Stiles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas. Mr. Hirsch, if you are ready, please proceed.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and good afternoon, Chairman O'Daniel, Mr. Collier, members. As discussed during the Business Financial Operations Committee meeting, we have 2 items on the agenda today. The first item is Cameron Highway Oil Pipeline Company is requesting to renew an existing 24-inch easement at the Stiles Unit in Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, to include an area consisting of 3.83 acres of land, which is 5,555.39 feet long by 30 feet wide. If you direct your attention to the screen again, you'll see the red line indicates the pipeline renewal, or the easement that's running east to west there along that Farm to Market Road between the Stiles, Gist, and LeBlanc units. Cameron Oil Pipeline Company has agreed to pay us $336,690 compensation for a term of 10 years. This will be the second renewal. I'd like to point out that this easement does include language requiring indemnification as the grantee's responsibility, the most favored nation clause, and general liability insurance coverage for a minimum of $3 million. We recommend that the Texas Board of Criminal Justice approve the request to renew the pipeline easement to Cameron Highway Oil Pipeline Company. I stand available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hirsch. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I move that the Texas Board of Criminal Justice approve the request for renewal of the crude oil pipeline easement at the Stiles Unit in Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made. It has been seconded by Judge Johnson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Please let the record show I abstain from voting on the request for renewal of a crude oil pipeline easement, Stiles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas. The next agenda item is a discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding proposed land transaction, request for renewal of a crude oil pipeline easement, Styles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas. Members of the board, I would like to state for the record, I don't ordinarily vote unless it is a break tie. However, my firm represents Seaway Crude Pipeline Company, LLC. Therefore, I will not be taking action today on the request for renewal of a crude oil pipeline easement, Styles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas. Mr. Hirsch, you may proceed.
Yes, sir. Seaway Crude Pipeline Company, LLC is requesting to renew an existing 36-inch easement at the Styles Unit in Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, to include an area consisting of approximately 2,077 acres, or sorry about that, 2,077 acres, no, 2.077 acres. That was a period, not a comma, of land. It's late in the day, okay?
I know it, Mr. Hirsch.
An area of 3,015.75 feet by 30 feet wide. If you direct your attention to the screen again, in the northwest corner of the property there behind the GIST unit, you'll see the easement that's being renewed. Seaway Crude Pipeline Company has agreed to pay us $182,770 compensation for a 10-year term. This will be the first renewal. I would like to point out that this easement includes language requiring identification as the grantee's responsibility, most favored nation clause, and general liability insurance coverage for a minimum of $3 million. We recommend that the Texas Board of Criminal Justice approve the request to renew the pipeline easement to Seaway Crude Pipeline Oil Company. I stand available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hirsch. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Move that the Texas Board of Criminal Justice approve the request for review of the crude oil pipeline easement of the Styles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas, as approved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made. It has been seconded by Judge Johnson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Please let the record show I abstain from voting on the request for renewal of a crude oil pipeline easement, Styles Unit, Jefferson County, Beaumont, Texas. For public comments, it's now the public comment period. For public comments on issues within the jurisdiction of the board but not posted on the agenda, one registration card was received by board staff prior to the established deadline. Today's comment time is set at 3 minutes per individual. A red light on the timer in front of me will notify the presenter when her time has expired. During this comment period, speakers' comments must remain pertinent to issues under the jurisdiction of the board. If I sense a deviation, I will interrupt and notify the speaker of such. Continued deviation will be considered disruptive conduct. If an individual registered to speak is not present when first called upon, her name will be called once more following any other registered speakers, but there are none here. If she is not present, she will forfeit her opportunity to speak. Board members and agency staff may ask questions for clarification purposes only. However, a discussion of the topic cannot take place due to requirements of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Regarding conduct and decorum, if I determine a presenter or spectator is being disruptive, they will be asked to immediately cease or leave the meeting and, if necessary, be escorted out. Our first and only presenter is Cassandra Benton regarding waiting to request mediation. Cassandra Benton, if you could come on up. Tell me when you're settled in, and then we'll start your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Basically, what I'm asking is to see if I could get a mediation that I've requested. I've put in several letters throughout for the state representatives, for the governor, for the lieutenant governor, just to see if this could be approved for me to be able to move on with this mediation and get things settled and closed.
Well, thank you very much then for those remarks. Do you have any follow-up remarks to that?
Well, it's just a mediation that I've been trying to get resolved for a long time, and I just haven't been able to. I have been able to find more information that will allow me to at least present the problem that started the whole thing. And that was just some issues during the time of write-ups, disciplinaries, that I just had some concerns. And during the observation time period, I wanted to make sure that I was aware of what was going on. With me not being a licensed professional consultant, I had to try and find information out for myself. And some of the information during the time, it indicates that just through my observations, I'm not licensed, to say that there was some cognitive defects, cognitive deficiency, and some of the people that were doing some of the write-ups that I was involved in. And so based on that, I just wanted to, I refused the first mediation, and then did the research and just wanted to see if I can get another mediation.
Well, thank you for those remarks and bringing this matter to our attention. I appreciate you coming here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wait.
Who are you trying to get the mediation with?
Well, I was going for a mediation on my own here in Austin, Texas. They did offer an independent mediation beforehand, but I wanted to go out. That was in Walker County, but I want to venture out into Austin, Texas, Travis County, to see if I can find a mediation here, and then see if the TDCJ would approve to come to the mediation.
So you made that request to get a mediator here?
Well, I'm doing it now.
Okay, you're doing it.
I have done it in the past, but I didn't have enough information to present as to why.
Okay, so you'll get back with us and let us know if you're successful?
I have presented what was happening with the write-ups, in my opinion, of what I observed, that I was seeing cognitive deficiency, cognitive defects, that some of the people that were in charge should probably have had an assessment just to make sure everything was okay with the process and procedures that were going on during the time of work. So that was my only concern, is the concern that all the workers are being treated fairly.
But you're still wanting a mediation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I would like to thank all of you for coming here today and remind you the next meeting of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice will be Friday, June 23rd, 2022 in El Paso, Texas. There being no further business, the 228th meeting of the Texas Board of Criminal Justice is now adjourned. It is 4:46. All right. I'm just going to help. All right. We're just keeping going.
Okay. No card.
All right, so y'all stick here. Come on, we're going. I'm only, an hour and a half late? All right. Don't you just love me? All right.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. All right.
Is our new special counsel person here? I don't know what she looks like.
I would. Hold on. That's a good point. Let's see. Yes, we're going to have Miss Martin stay. You can visit. I'm going to, let's see how fast I can be. All right.
All right.
Are we ready? Are we good? I don't really care if the rest aren't. All right. The 335th meeting of the Windham School District Board of Trustees is called to order in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Open Meetings Act. During this meeting, the board will be conducting business from the agenda posted in the Texas Register. Members of the board present for this meeting are Vice Chairman Darrell Perriman, Secretary Pastor Larry Miles, members Judge Faith Johnson, Ambassador Sishan Siv, and Dr. Rodney Burrow. A quorum is present and the 335th meeting of the board is declared open. It is 4:48. Dr. Burrow, will you open up our meeting with a word of prayer?
Yes. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful day, Lord, and the privilege of serving Texas. Lord, we pray that you bless the whole Windham School District, the Board of Trustees, the administrators, the teachers, the ancillary staff, Lord, and most especially the students. Lord, there's a lot of turmoil going on in the state and the country. We just pray that you bless and guide our leaders, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Burrow. As a courtesy to speakers and guests in the meeting, please turn electronic devices to the silent or vibrate mode. Thank you. I would like to recognize any public officials and our staff representatives with us today. Are there any with us today? If not, thank you for your support. The Windham School District Board of Trustees is committed to providing an opportunity for public presentations on posted agenda topics as well as public comments on issues within its jurisdiction as provided in Board Rule 300.1. Persons interested in speaking at today's meeting were required to complete and submit a registration card at least 10 minutes prior to the meeting's posted start time. As no cards were received prior to the required deadline, the board will not hear public presentations on posted agenda topics today or public comments on issues within the board's jurisdiction. And with that, we will begin with recognitions. Windham School District Communications Administrator Danielle Nichols would like to recognize Shelby McVeigh on being the new Communications Coordinator. Please, you are at the podium. If you're ready, you may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman, board members, and Superintendent Hartman. Shelby McVeigh joined Windham School District in September of 2022 as the Social Media and Communications Intern. In this role, Shelby produced written content for the 2021-2022 Annual Performance Report and participated in collaborative team meetings, interviewed former students for success stories, and was a means of support for the communications team. In February, Shelby began her new position as Communications Coordinator for Windham. In her current position, Shelby works diligently to gather and develop content for press releases, draft articles for Windham to include on the website and in the Echo, as well as assist with coordinating board reports and presentations. Shelby also acts as the liaison between Windham and outside partners and the Windham School District Board of Trustees. Shelby graduated cum laude from Texas A&M University in May of 2022, earning her Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with minors in Communication and Agriculture Communication. During her time at Texas A&M, Shelby served as Editor-in-Chief and Social Media Manager of The Battalion, the Texas A&M University newspaper, where she led a team of dedicated journalists to produce groundbreaking and newsworthy content and worked closely with her news networks in the Bryan College Station area. In her free time, Shelby enjoys traveling with her friends and keeping her Australian Shepherd puppy, Collie, out of trouble. Please join me in congratulating Shelby on her accomplishments.
Chairman, Superintendent Hartman, and members of the board, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. It really is an honor to get to do what I do every day. So, thank you.
And congratulations, Ms. McVeigh, and let's get a picture. Today's proposed consent items include an excused absence for Ms. Darylyn Perriman from the February 10th, 2023 meeting. Are there any amendments, objections, or abstentions to the proposed consent items? Seeing none, the consent items posted for this meeting's agenda will stand approved. The next item on the agenda is a report from the Superintendent of the Windham School District, Christina Hartman. If you are ready, Ms. Hartman, you may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'll be providing some legislative updates today. Since the convening of the 88th Texas Legislature on January 10th, 2023, Windham School District has been hard at work communicating the district mission, successes, and needs. Windham leadership has attended and at times testified at numerous hearings with committees that hold district interest, including Senate Finance, Senate Education, Senate Criminal Justice, House Appropriations Subcommittee Article 3, House Public Education, House Pensions, Investments, and Financial Services, Public Education, and Corrections. In addition, the district has been in communication with legislative offices to discuss bills and matters related to correctional education. Due to Windham's unique funding structure, it is important to meet with members to discuss student demographics, programs, and services, along with district funding. Freshman legislators may be unfamiliar with the district and the differences between correctional education systems and K-12 independent school districts. Windham identifies and meets with newly elected legislators to ensure that they receive information necessary to make well-informed decisions. By testifying before committees and meeting individually with legislative offices, Robert O'Banion, Director of Operations and Chief Financial Officer, and I emphasize Windham's purpose, contributions, and needs to ensure that legislators understand the district's mission and goals. This legislative outreach contributes to the support of Windham requests and preferences. Chapter 19 of the Education Code provides Windham School District's funding through the Texas Education Agency's, TEA, Foundation School Fund. Our base appropriation is currently $131.2 million for the biennium, which includes $6.2 million to maintain the 10% teacher salary increase and $9.6 million for an additional staff salary increase of 5% or $3,000 for each of the next 2 years. Windham requested an exceptional item of $4.2 million to fund educational services for students in restrictive housing, career and technical education expansion, family literacy, and a workforce coordinator program. The Workforce Coordinator Program relies on 6 staff positions to coordinate pre-release employment in collaboration with TDCJ's Reentry and Integration Division for students by training and completing occupational licensing applications to achieve TDCJ and Windham's 2030 plan goal of 90% pre-release employment by 2030. Windham is tracking several bills of interest. House Bill 3813, filed by Representative De Ayala, would help ensure that certain Windham employees continue to receive quality Employees Retirement System, or ERS, health benefits upon retirement. House Bill 786, filed by Representative Meza, would require Windham to identify and report statistical information regarding illiteracy and dyslexia among students under the age of 22 in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. The bill would require Windham to submit a report with findings and legislative recommendations to key stakeholders. Finally, Senate Bill 2158, filed by Senator King, with a companion House Bill 4921, filed by Representative Murr, would authorize the implementation of an adult education high school pilot program through a partnership agreement with an adult high school charter school. The district is also closely monitoring public educator salary increases, as well as the potential availability of a TEA grant that covers the teacher retirement system fee for hiring retirees. Windham leadership will continue to monitor these bills to ensure that the district is included in discussions and bill language. Windham's utmost priority is to ensure that legislators and committee members are well informed about the activities and needs of the district and are provided the opportunity to ask questions and receive accurate information. It is imperative that we continue to highlight the incredible work of Windham educators and staff, as well as our students that are enriched by Windham programs as they prepare to successfully reenter the workforce in our Texas communities. Thank you for your ongoing and steadfast support of the Windham School District. This concludes my report, and I'll now pass for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hartman. Are there any questions from the board?
That was pretty fast.
That was. Wait till you hear my report.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you again, Ms. Hartman. The next item on the agenda is the chairman's report. In 2018, the White House declared April as Second Chance Month, signifying the accomplishments of individuals who were formerly incarcerated. Windham School District is honored to celebrate this monumental month as it directly impacts Windham students and alumni. Not only does this month emphasize the values of rehabilitation and reentry resources, it also provides reassurance for safer communities. Windham strives to spread awareness and unlock opportunities for those who are or have been incarcerated, and the district continues to recognize and celebrate their great achievements. Windham champions the importance of second chance employment and works diligently to communicate the benefits of hiring graduates by issuing a press release in the month of April to heighten awareness and strongly messaging student technical and life skills acquired through participation in Windham programming. The district collaborates with April Zamora, Director of Reentry and Integration, and other TDCJ division directors, in addition to a number of state agencies and associations, to secure resources and establish connections that are necessary for students to be successful. In addition, partnerships are established with local businesses to refer eligible students for consideration when filling vacancies. The district aligns with TDCJ's 2030 goal of 95% employment prior to reentry and looks forward to implementing virtual interview opportunities in the near future so that students secure employment in their fields of training. Through the district's career and technical education programs, students are able to obtain licensing, workforce instruction, and necessary skills that allow them to validate their career readiness, making them quality candidates for employment. In the 2021-2022 school year, Windham students earned 12,395 CTE certificates, as well as 17,634 industry-based certifications. A second chance is an opportunity for individuals to demonstrate their growth, personally and professional, and Windham equips students for success through robust programs. Windham also provides cognitive-based life skills courses to address thinking errors and assist students in developing healthy mindsets. The district believes in the importance of introducing students to healthy habits that they can lean on as they face unforeseen struggles post-reentry. Through collaboration with TDCJ, manufacturing, agribusiness, and logistics, mall, and college partners, Windham students have had the opportunity to engage with businesses and employers through skills demonstration and career expo events. To increase opportunities for students to practice community interactions, Windham will add components such as handshaking, eye contact, and public speaking practice to life skills course instruction. The district is proud to support students and magnify their journeys following reentry. Each year, a number of success stories are featured in the annual performance report, APR, highlighting the opportunities and successes that Windham alumni have achieved since completing Windham programming and returning to their communities. Monica Broadus, a 2021-2022 APR success story, was one of the first to graduate from Windham's Recreational Vehicle RV Service Technician program. Currently, Ms. Broadus is one of the top service technicians for Clear Creek RV Center in Abilene, Texas. Through second chances afforded by Windham and her employer, Ms. Broadus has been able to create continuous growth in a career path she loves. I got really confident. I realized that I could actually retain the information from the course. I was shocked at what all I had learned, Ms. Broadus said. Today, she credits her employer for giving her a second chance to create an impactful future for herself. I absolutely have loved it, Ms. Broadus said. They are great people to work with and for. This has been totally a life changer, the RV program. Another Windham alumni, Joseph Sividon, earned success for himself following his time in the district's welding course. Since re-entering into his community, Mr. Silvadon has worked on monumental projects such as the Gerald Desmond Bridge in Long Beach, California, and the Raiders, Rams, and Rangers stadiums. It has been 8 years since his re-entry, and Mr. Sividon is still actively working to further his education. Currently, he's working towards earning his engineering degree with hopes of one day becoming a teacher. I passed my certified welding inspection exam on the first try. I was able to skim through the first 10 to 15 pages of the study guide because it was all Windham curriculum. Education is life-changing, Mr. Sividon said. Wyndham celebrates Second Chance Month by collaborating with former students and graduates, giving them a platform to empower current students in the classroom. District staff often invite former students to speak at district conferences and participate on panels to share their stories of reentry, including how education has played a role in their lives. For the second year, Wyndham looks forward to hosting a panel including former students and district leadership, generating discussion on their journey since returning to their communities, including challenges and successes. Wyndham alumni have been invited to speak at graduations to educate current students regarding what to expect when embarking on their second chance journeys, successes, and words of motivation. In addition, students who showcase exemplary growth are featured on the district's social media pages, cultivating further support and outreach. Campuses across the district will be observing Second Chance Month through classroom instruction and activities. The district and its stakeholders will continue to celebrate the accomplishments of these individuals as they move forward. Happy Second Chances Month. And that concludes my report. The next item on the agenda is a 2021-2022 annual performance report provided by Wyndham's Communications Administrator, Danielle Nichols, and Wyndham's Department Director of Instruction, Kevin Sonick. Mr. Nichols and Mr. Sonick, please join us at the podium. If you are ready, please begin. Miss Nichols. Miss Nichols.
Thank you.
It is late. Where's Mr. Hirsch? I'm going to use the Mr. Hirsch
It's
excuse.
late, I understand.
It's late.
Good afternoon again, Chairman, board members, and Superintendent Hartman. At Wyndham, we strive to prepare our students for success through robust program opportunities. It is our privilege to share the district's annual performance report with you, highlighting September 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2022. Wyndham serves students that reside within the Texas Department of Criminal Justice facilities across Texas that need educational interventions ranging from academic and high school equivalency programs to advanced technical training and life skills programs to prepare them for reentry into the workforce and higher education enrollments. Characteristics of an average academic student entering Wyndham programs include dropped out in 9th grade, 5th grade functioning level, 33 years old. And while many students have a history of educational challenges, Wyndham provides the opportunity for them to regain confidence and achieve educational success. Approximately 50,000 students received Wyndham Educational Services in school year 22. The Test of Adult Basic Education, TABE, evaluates the students' educational functioning levels. Information gathered through this testing process is used to create an individualized treatment plan, ITP, for each resident. Wyndham students take the TABE test throughout the school year to monitor their educational progress and determine qualification to take the GED test. 18,770 students participated in adult education academic programs. 1,994 students took the high school equivalency exam in school year 22. Of that group, 83% were awarded a high school equivalency certificate. Wyndham also has life skills programs that are dedicated to helping students refocus thinking, develop life skills, enhance cognitive skills, and obtain employment. In school year 22, 15,249 students participated in the Changes program, 9,711 students participated in the Cognitive Intervention Program, and 1,319 students participated in the Parenting Program. Wyndham's Career and Technical Education Program equips students with the necessary skills, training, and experience to succeed in the workforce upon reentering their communities. CTE programs utilize hands-on training, classroom instruction, and industry-based certifications. Wyndham aims to decrease recidivism rates by supplying students with increased experience and employment opportunities. In school year 22, 12,395 CTE certificates and 17,634 industry-based certifications were earned. Wyndham is working with college partners to develop prior learning agreements for the award of college credits for Wyndham Level 1 certificate programs that crosswalk with college courses. In partnership with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Wyndham School District develops hands-on training and classroom instruction through work certification, on-the-job training, and apprenticeship programs. This enables students to earn applied job experience and certifications and equips them with skills to succeed in today's workforce. In the 2021-2022 school year, Wyndham had 26 occupations across the state registered with the Department of Labor and over 500 registered apprentices. In the 2021-2022 school year, Wyndham made great strides in the advancement of its high school program at both the Matthew Gaines campus in Midway, Texas, and the Jovita Gonzalez de Morales campus in Gatesville. During school year 22, 8 men received their high school diplomas from the Gaines High School, and 8 women were enrolled in the startup phase at the Morales High School.
Wyndham serves students within the district who meet eligibility requirements for special education services under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. During the 21-22 school year, 509 students received special education services. During the 2021-2022 school year, Wyndham took steps to enhance support by incorporating an updated regional principal model. This model promotes a more purposeful, campus-focused leadership approach. The updated framework includes 6 regions with the regional principal assigned to lead and serve each region. Wyndham made monumental strides in classroom technology during the 21-22 school year. Ensuring that students are updated as modern technology advances is essential to a smooth transition upon re-entry. 2021-2022 technology advancements include academic teacher laptops, augmented reality, and simulators for welding and truck driving instruction for our students. Partnerships are essential to enhancing opportunities for Wyndham School District students. A few Wyndham collaborative partnerships include Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, Texas Workforce Commission, Workforce Solutions, the Department of Family Protective Services, Lee College, Central Texas College, Buckley Trucking, and Women's Storybook Project of Texas. Each partnership provides a foundation to support student success and are centered around collaboration, progress, and student accomplishments. Wyndham School District's comprehensive accountability system is designed to assist district employees with monitoring campus data while tracking key activities to provide educators with essential information. Campuses can ensure effective program implementation. Wyndham received the rating of accomplishment for the 2022 school year. In addition, the district undergoes a biennial evaluation in compliance with requirements outlined in the Texas Education Code to assess the effectiveness of district programming. The report showed that those who completed a Wyndham program were 17.6% less likely to recidivate than their match samples. Those students who completed the cognitive intervention program were 39.1% less likely to recidivate than their matched sample. Those completed CTE and life skills programs were 25.8% less likely to recidivate than their matched sample. And those who participated in Wyndham programs secured employment on average 6.5 weeks sooner than those with their matched sample. Those who completed academic programming improved reading skills by 2.23 grades, math skills by 2.45 grades, and overall scores by 2.36 grades. Of those who completed career and technical education programs, 23.1% were less likely to recidivate than their match sample, and 78% secured at least one job related to their training. Wyndham is excited to communicate the progress and efforts put forth by district staff and students during the 2021-2022 school year. The district is consistently evaluating and improving programs and opportunities available to students with the goal of inspiring them to work towards achieving success upon returning to their communities. This concludes our report, and I will now pause for any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, thank you both for that report.
Thank you.
Very uplifting. I see that, particularly on recidivism. The next item on the agenda is a presentation on celebrating Texas history, Texas state symbols. Ms. Nichols will be presenting. If you are ready, you may proceed.
Good afternoon again. I'm excited to stand before you today to present on the next topic in Wyndham's Texas History series, Texas Symbols and Their Backgrounds. Texas has 76 of its own official symbols, not including the Texas flag. Each symbol went through the same process in order to be deemed official. The extensive process involves an elected state representative or a senator submitting a proposal during legislative session, appearing before committees, and being signed by the Texas governor if approved by both branches. Today I will inform you about the state flower, flag, insect, and gem. It is likely that when you think of Texas, you think of a bluebonnet. In 1901, the legislature signed a bill approving the Lupinus subcarnosus, a species of the bluebonnet, as the state flower. Over the next 70 years, it was discovered that there are many species of the bluebonnet, including the Lupinus texensis, which is known to be a showier species of the bluebonnet. After many campaigns for change, the 1971 legislature amended the statute to include the Lupinus texensis and any other variety of the bluebonnet that has not yet been discovered. Dating further back than the state flower is the state flag. The official flag of Texas was adopted in 1839 by the Third Congress of the Republic of Texas. Flag specifications included a blue perpendicular stripe of the width of 1/3 of the whole length of the flag, and a white star of 5 points in the center thereof, and 2 horizontal stripes of equal length and breadth. The upper stripe of white, the lower of red, of the length of 2/3 of the length of the whole flag. It wasn't until 1933 that the 43rd legislature passed a statute clarifying the requirements of the star on the flag. From that point forward, the star, from topmost to lowest points, shall be 1/3 the depth of the blue field. Each component of the Texas flag has significance. Like the United States flag, the red represents courage, the blue loyalty, and the white purity and liberty. Another meaningful Texas state symbol is the monarch butterfly, which is known as the state insect. Texas is home to more than 400 butterfly species, with the monarch being the most recognizable with its rust orange colored wings and intricate black detail. Adopted in June of 1995, the legislature states the monarch butterfly is as beautiful and as memorable as a Texas sunset. Soaring above all other insects in its nobility and determination and its unique relationship with Texas makes it a truly appropriate symbol of the majestic spirit of the Lone Star State. I am certain that I can speak on behalf of numerous Texans when I say it is a beautiful sight to see the monarch's biannual migration through Texas to and from Mexico. The final official state symbol that I will highlight today is the Texas state gem, the Texas blue topaz. Designated by legislature in 1969, the gem's blue color is a natural occurrence and can be found in central Texas, especially west of Mason. Following this designation in 1977, the gem was given an official state cut. The Lone Star cut was designed by 2 native Texans and is intended to reflect a 5-point star, the Lone Star. Each of the 76 official Texas state symbols have a unique, impactful meaning that contribute to the state's wholesome reputation and deep-running pride. Their significance holds a special place in Texas's history and journey to become the great state that it is today. This concludes my report, and I will now pause for any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'm always fascinated by history. I'm a big history fan. But I wonder when we have a national food for Texas, a national drink.
The national dish is chili.
Chili, okay. I thought it was barbecue. Also, how about a national dress? Would you consider cowboy jeans?
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that for you.
So I'm half of it. The other one is, what do we call a Texan look? Is there a Texan look?
Texan look?
Yeah. How do you look like a Texan?
It's a good question.
Yeah, we may have to come up with some discussion. So I leave it up to you. If you want to debate it, I'd be happy to join you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ambassador. Are there any further questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Nichols. The next item on the agenda is the discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding board resolution for nomination of Christina J. Hartman, EDS, for Texas Association of School Board Superintendent of the Year. Wyndham's Chief Financial Officer, Robert O'Banion, will be presenting today. Mr. O'Banion, please join us at the podium. If you're ready, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. On behalf of the Wyndham School District Board of Trustees, I'm very pleased to present this resolution for the nomination of Christina J. Hartman for the 2023 Texas Association of School Board Superintendent of the Year. Superintendent Hartman's exemplary and visionary leadership is instrumental in improving student performance on our campuses. Her compassion and dedication to the district is the driving force behind the Wyndham's success and accomplishments. It is because of these tremendous efforts that I present this resolution on behalf of the board nominating Christina J. Hartman as the 2023 Texas Association of School Boards Superintendent of the Year.
Thank you, Mr. O'Banion. Are there any questions from the board? Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. With honor, I move that the Wyndham School District Board of Trustees approve the resolution for nomination of Christina J. Hartman for Texas Association of School Boards Superintendent of the Year as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second? A motion has been made. It has been seconded by Ambassador Siv. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, Ms. Hartman. Our next item on the agenda is the discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding proposed repeal of Wyndham Board Policy 07.03, Employee Personnel File. Wyndham's General Counsel Eric Brown will be presenting today. You may begin.
Thank you, Chairman O'Daniel, board members, Superintendent Hartman. You'll find Wyndham Board Policy 0703, Employee Personnel File, behind tab H of your binders. Wyndham proposes to repeal this policy because much of the policy is outdated and duplicative of other policies and directives. The provisions of this policy that continue to be relevant to Wyndham operations are included in the revisions to Superintendent Directive 1010, Records Management. I'll pause now for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Are there any questions? Hearing none, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Wyndham School District Board of Trustees approve the proposed repeal of Wyndham Board Policy 07.03, Employee Personnel File, as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Oh, now I don't. All right. A motion has been made. It has been seconded by Pastor Miles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding proposed repeal of Wyndham Board Policy 07.41, Principal Training. Mr. Brown, you may proceed.
You'll find Wyndham Board Policy 0741, Principal Trainee, behind tab I of your binders. Wyndham proposes to repeal this policy because the position of Principal Trainee has not existed for several years and there is no plan to create another Principal Trainee position in the foreseeable future. I'll pause now for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Are there any questions? Hearing none, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Wyndham School District Board of Trustees approve the proposed repeal of Wyndham Board Policy 07.41 Principal Trainees as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made. It's been seconded by Judge Johnson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I would like to thank all of you for coming here today and remind you the next meeting of the Wyndham School District Board of Trustees will be Friday, June 23rd, 2023 in El Paso, Texas. There being no further business, the 335th meeting of the Wyndham School District Board of Trustees is now adjourned. It is 5:23. Thank you.